My mother-in-law insisted on managing our finances. And my pathetic husband happily handed over his direct deposit info. With both hands. He thought this was just being a good filial son. I knew it was his mother's toxic power play. To show me who the fuck was boss. Fine by me. Let the games begin. I pull in $15,000 a month. My bank accounts are mine. Not only was I not giving up a single cent, I completely stopped doing anything around the house, including cooking. He came home from work, stared at the dark, cold kitchen and threw a bitch fit. Where the hell is dinner? I glanced at him. You're a broke-ass man with empty pockets. What makes you think you deserve a hot meal handed to you? He was speechless. I just took my sweet time. Pulled out my iPhone and booked a first-class ticket to Bora Bora. Right in front of Jared's face. My fingernail gently tapped the screen. Payment successful. A crisp notification sound shattered the silence. Banner popped up on my phone. Dear Olivia. Your first-class flight to Bora Bora has been successfully ticketed. Jared's face, which had been twisted in anger just a second ago, completely froze. His expression transitioned like a shitty slow-motion video. From rage to shock and finally settling on a comical, pathetic disbelief. Olivia. Are you fucking crazy? His voice cracked, pitching up into a shrill whine. We're supposed to be saving money for my mom to manage. I raised my eyes, my gaze landing on his face with ice-cold detachment. I looked at him like he was a random piece of trash on the street. I repeated the words softly, my tone dripping with undisguised mockery. Jared, are you confused? You guys are saving money. You and your mommy. My money is my fucking business. The moment the words left my mouth, his phone started ringing like the Grim Reaper was calling. I didn't even need to look to know who it was. Karen. Jared grabbed the phone like a drowning rat. He frantically put it on speaker, clearly hoping she would bully me into submission. Instantly, Karen's signature shrill, controlling, bitchy voice blasted through the speaker. Jared, what the hell is wrong with your wife? She refusing to hand over her accounts. Olivia, let me tell you right now. You are acting like a spoiled brat. Do you think I'm trying to screw you over? Why are you such a malicious bitch? The guilt tripping and gaslighting sprayed out like a verbal machine gun. In the past, I might have tried to argue with her, or naively hoped that Jared would grow a pair and defend me. But today I was just so fucking exhausted by it all. I didn't say a single word. I just stared at Jared. I watched as his face turned pale under his mother's screeching insults. The look in his eyes shifted from initial anger to resentment, and then to a pathetic, pleading dog look. He was using his eyes to beg me to cave. I suddenly burst out laughing. I ignored Karen's endless yapping on the speaker. I just picked up my own phone right in front of him, found his mother's contact and hit block. The whole motion was smooth as silk. Jared's eyes went wide. He lunged forward to grab my phone. What the fuck are you doing? That's my mother. I dodged to the side, letting him grab a handful of air. He stumbled awkwardly, looking like a clown. I didn't spare him another glance. I turned, walked into the master bedroom, grabbed my to-carry-on suitcase. I had packed it yesterday afternoon. It held a few of my favorite sundresses, some books for the flight and my passport. Rolling the suitcase, I walked past him and stopped at the front door. Have your mommy cook for you? I said, without looking back. I could feel the stare burning into my back. A mix of confusion, fury, and utter shock. I didn't give a shit. From the exact moment he handed his entire financial independence over to that woman, without a second thought, the man I married died to me. The door slammed shut behind me with a loud bang, sealing off the house I used to pour my heart into. Sitting in the Uber heading to the airport, I opened Instagram and posted a story. The world is massive. Since I'm rich and independent, I think I'll go see it. The photo was a screenshot of the ticket privacy settings, visibly only to Jared, Karen, and my spoiled brat sister-in-law, Chloe. The city lights blurred past the window, and my heart felt an unprecedented absolute peace. My phone lit up. It was an iMessage from Chloe. "Olivia, you are crossing a line. You've made my mom physically sick from stress. How could you treat an elder like this? You selfish bitch." It was followed by a massive paragraph, accusing me of being a narcissistic gold digger. I stared at the screen with a deadpan expression, hard-pressed the conversation and hit delete. Peace and fucking quiet. They wanted to start this war. Fine. Don't cry. When I expand the battlefield so far out they can't even breathe. The sun in Bora Bora hit my skin with luxurious, expensive warmth. I was lounging on the deck of my overwater bungalow, wearing designer sunglasses, my skin smelling of expensive tanning oil. My private butler had dropped off a coconut. This fucking rocked. This was living. My phone was vibrating violently on the side table. The screen lit up repeatedly with Jared's name. Hundreds of unread texts. They morphed from furious accusations to desperate interrogations, and finally to pathetic groveling. "Olivia, where the hell are you? You're taking this too far. Can we just talk like adults? Mom is just looking out for our future, baby. I'm sorry. Come home. The house is falling apart without you." I picked up the phone, swiped open the screen and felt absolutely nothing. No, she messed up. What a fucking joke. The word apology didn't exist in Karen's dictionary. It was only ever a tactical retreat. I didn't reply to a single text. Instead, I smoothly opened up a few apps. First, the Xfinity app. The home's gigabit internet, which cost $150 a month, was in my name. With a few taps, I scheduled an immediate service suspension. Next, PG&E and the water company. Same exact protocol, scheduled shutoffs. I had been paying the utilities for years. Jared didn't even know our fucking account numbers. I opened my Chase banking app and found a recurring monthly transfer. It was the $600 monthly auto loan payment for the red Mustang, belonging to his sister Chloe. When she graduated college, she threw a massive temper tantrum about needing a car. Karen forced Jared to beg me for it back then, just to keep the peace and save Jared the headache. I agreed to cover it as a graduation gift. Looking back, I was a fucking idiot. I didn't hesitate for a second. Cancel automatic payments. After doing all that, another thought popped into my head. Right, Karen. Last year I got her an elite membership at a luxury country club gym. It cost $3,000 a year. She loved taking selfies in the locker room and posting them to Facebook. With bragging captions, I dug up the membership agreement in my email, called the club's VIP concierge, and casually informed them I was terminating the membership. Effective immediately, I wouldn't get a refund. But I sure as hell wasn't going to sponsor her vain bullshit. For another day after clearing that out, I felt incredibly light. Like I just purged years of malware from a slow computer. I hoisted my coconut and toasted the bright sun. "Welcome to your new life, Olivia." Jared's call finally broke through. I let it ring for a long time before taking my sweet time to answer. I put it on speaker and dropped the phone on the table. "Olivia, you finally picked up." Jared sounded beyond frantic, his voice wavering on the verge of tears. In the background, I could hear Chloe screaming like a banshee. Jared. The bank just called me, my car payment bounced. They're gonna repossess the car. What the fuck is going on? Jared's voice grew even more panicked. Olivia. Did you cancel the auto pay on Chloe's Mustang? Do you have any idea she owes over $1,000 this month with late fees? I gave my whole paycheck to Mom. I don't have the cash to cover this. Oh. I took a slow, deliberate sip of the freezing coconut water. My voice was lazy. Totally unbothered. Then ask your mommy to pull it from the cash she's managing for you. Now's her time to shine. Dead silence on the other end. Then an eruption of Karen screaming obscenities. Jared trying to nervously defuse the situation. And Chloe howling in the background because the Wi-Fi had just cut out. It was an absolute shit show. Jared's voice sounded entirely defeated. The Wi-Fi is gone. The lights keep flickering. I think the power is next. Olivia, what the hell do you want from us? I let out a soft laugh. The sound transmitted with sadistic satisfaction. I don't want anything. I just want you. Your precious mommy and your bratty sister. To experience what it's really like when the money runs out. Have the day you deserve. I hung up on him. I snapped a picture of the massive seafood spread in front of me. Lobster tails, oysters, tropical fruits, the infinity pool and the sunset in the background. Second Instagram story posted. True freedom is financial freedom. God, it felt so fucking good. The next few days in Bora Bora were absolute paradise. I spent my mornings snorkeling in crystal clear water, my afternoons getting hot stone massages, and my evenings drinking ridiculously expensive cocktails while watching the sunset. I slept like the dead, unburdened by the snoring of a man who couldn't even stand up to his mother, or the constant, low-level anxiety of waking up to another one of Karen's passive-aggressive text messages about my housekeeping. I kept my phone on Do Not Disturb, but I checked it once a day just to enjoy the circus. By day 4, the situation back home had escalated from a localized shitshow to a full-blown nuclear meltdown. Jared had left me 34 voicemails. Chloe had sent me 72 text messages, ranging from furious legal threats, hilarious, considering she couldn't afford a lawyer if she couldn't afford her car payment, to pathetic, sobbing apologies. Olivia, please, they towed the Mustang. How am I supposed to get to work? You're ruining my life. You psychotic bitch, my mom is crying because they denied her entry at the country club. Everyone was watching. You humiliated her. Lev, baby, please answer. The power company wants a $500 deposit to turn the lights back on because the account was closed. Mom won't give me any of my paycheck back. She says it's locked in a high-yield CD and there are penalties to withdraw. I'm eating cold Chef Boyardee in the dark. Please. I laughed so hard I almost choked on my mimosa. Karen had locked his money in a CD. Of course she did. She didn't actually want to manage his money for his benefit, she wanted to hoard it to solidify her absolute control. And now, the golden boy was sitting in a dark, sweltering house in the middle of summer, eating cold canned pasta, while his mommy refused to take a financial hit to help him out. I decided it was time to drop another bomb. I opened the Airbnb app. I owned a beautiful, fully paid-off 2-bedroom condo downtown that I had purchased before I even met Jared. For the last 3 years, I had been letting Karen live there rent-free. She had sold her own house when her husband died, blown through the cash on luxury cruises and designer bags, and then cried poverty to Jared. Like an idiot, I had offered her my condo, thinking it was the family thing to do. No more. I called my property management company. Hi, Sarah. It's Olivia. I need to issue a formal 30-day notice to vacate for the downtown condo. Yes, the current occupant. I'll be putting it on the short-term rental market. Sure thing, Olivia, Sarah said cheerfully. I'll have the eviction notice drafted and served via certified mail and posted on her door by this afternoon. Perfect. And Sarah? If she tries to call you and scream, just block her number. You work for me, not her. Understood. I hung up, feeling a warm, fuzzy sensation in my chest. That evening, I decided to finally answer one of Jared's calls. I was sitting at a beachfront restaurant, a plate of Wagyu beef in front of me, listening to the gentle crash of the waves. Hello? I answered, my voice breezy and relaxed. Olivia. Jared gasped, sounding like he had just run a marathon. Oh my God, you finally answered. Where are you? Are you coming home? I can't take this anymore. I'm at dinner, Jared. Having Wagyu. It melts in your mouth, I said, taking a bite and letting out a satisfied hum. What's up? What's up? The power is off, the water is off, Chloe lost her car, and Mom just called me having a literal panic attack because she got an eviction notice for the condo. What are you doing? I'm restructuring my assets, I said calmly. Just like your mom is doing with your paycheck. Since you guys are a financial unit now, I figured you could all figure it out together. Karen can move in with you. Oh wait, it's dark and there's no running water. Well, you guys can camp in the backyard. Olivia, stop this, he yelled, his voice cracking. You're my wife. You're supposed to support me. I did support you, Jared, I said, the amusement dropping from my voice, replaced by cold, hard steel. I paid the mortgage, the utilities, the insurance. I bought your sister a car. I housed your mother. And in return, you handed your entire paycheck over to a woman who openly disrespects me, and then you demanded I cook you dinner while you contributed absolutely nothing to our household. You made your choice. You chose your mommy. So go be with your mommy. I'll get my paycheck back, he pleaded, desperation completely taking over. I'll tell her to put it back in my account. Just turn the power back on, please. And call off the eviction. She has nowhere to go. That's not my problem, I said smoothly. And frankly, Jared, it's too late. I'm not coming back to that house. Dead silence on the line. Then, a shaky whisper. What do you mean? I'm filing for divorce, I said, the words tasting sweeter than the expensive wine I was drinking. My lawyer will be in touch. Oh, and just a heads up, the house is solely in my name, purchased before we were married, and I paid the entire down payment. I'm putting it on the market next month. You have 30 days to get your shit out. You can't do this, he screamed, dropping the pathetic dog act and returning to the whiny, entitled man-child I had grown to despise. I have rights. I'll take half of everything you have. Try it, I laughed. My lawyer is a shark, and we have a rock-solid prenup that you signed because Karen told you it was a formality and you were too lazy to read it. You get nothing, Jared. Absolutely nothing. I hung up and immediately blocked his number. I blocked Chloe. I blocked every single one of his flying monkey relatives who had started messaging me on Facebook. I took a deep breath of the salty ocean air. I was 32, making over $180,000 a year, and I was entirely, completely free. 2 weeks later, I returned to the States. I didn't go back to the house. I checked into a luxury suite at the Ritz-Carlton downtown. My lawyer, a ruthless woman named Brenda, had already filed the divorce papers and served Jared at his office. According to the process server, Jared had broken down crying in the lobby. I spent my days working from the hotel lounge, drinking expensive lattes, and occasionally meeting with real estate agents. On a Tuesday afternoon, my phone rang. It was an unknown number, but it was local. I answered it. Olivia. It was Karen. She sounded awful. The shrill, bossy tone was gone, replaced by a ragged, exhausted rasp. How did you get this number? I asked, completely unfazed. I borrowed a friend's phone. Please, don't hang up, she begged. I leaned back in my plush hotel chair, staring out at the city skyline. You have 60 seconds. Go. Olivia, please. I'm begging you. Call off the eviction. I have nowhere to go. I can't afford rent in this city. Jared is living in a motel because the house has no utilities, and Chloe lost her job because she couldn't get to work without her car. We're ruined. I didn't feel a single ounce of pity. You ruined yourselves, Karen. You got exactly what you wanted. Complete control over your son's finances. How's that high-yield CD working out for you? I lied, she sobbed, breaking down completely. There is no CD. I spent Jared's paycheck. I had credit card debt from the country club and the clothes and the dinners. I thought you made so much money, you would just cover everything for him. I didn't think you would actually leave. A slow, dark smile spread across my face. It was almost too perfect. She had stolen her own son's money to fund her vanity, assuming my wallet would always be open to catch the fallout. Well, Karen, I said, my voice dripping with icy satisfaction. Actions have consequences. You played a stupid game, and you won a stupid prize. You have 14 days left on that eviction notice. I suggest you start packing. You are a monster, she shrieked, the venom finally returning. You're a cold, heartless bitch. God will punish you for what you're doing to this family. God isn't your landlord, Karen. I am. And I want you out. I hung up. The divorce proceeded with brutal efficiency. Jared tried to fight the prenup, but he couldn't afford a decent lawyer, and Brenda absolutely shredded his public defender in mediation. He walked away with exactly what he brought into the marriage: a few boxes of clothes, a PlayStation, and a crippling dependency on his mother. I sold the house for a massive profit. I evicted Karen from the condo and sold that, too, rolling the cash into a gorgeous, ultramodern penthouse loft in the Arts District. 6 months after the day I walked out of that dark kitchen, the divorce was finalized. To celebrate, I threw a massive party at my new penthouse. I invited my friends, my colleagues, and Brenda, my divorce attorney, who had become a close friend. The champagne was flowing, the music was loud, and the view of the city lights from my floor-to-ceiling windows was breathtaking. I was standing on the balcony, holding a glass of Dom Perignon, when my phone buzzed. It was an email from an unfamiliar address, but the subject line caught my eye: from Jared. I almost deleted it, but morbid curiosity got the better of me. I opened it. Liv. I know you hate me. I deserve it. I just wanted you to know that Mom got a job at a grocery store checkout to pay off her credit cards, and I moved into a studio apartment in the suburbs. Chloe is living on a friend's couch. I see your Instagram stories sometimes. You look really happy. I realize now that I threw away the best thing that ever happened to me because I was too weak to stand up to my mother. I'm sorry. I hope you have a good life. Jared. I stared at the email for a long moment. I didn't feel anger anymore. I didn't feel vindictive pleasure. I just felt nothing. He was a ghost from a past life, a cautionary tale about weak men and toxic families. I hit delete. I drained the rest of my champagne, turned my back on the past, and walked back inside to the party, ready to live the rest of my brilliant, expensive, completely independent life.